Welcome back to my channel and this series on INFJ struggles. Today we are talking about struggling with overthinking, where it comes from, why INFJs in particular tend to suffer from overthinking, and then finally some remedies on how to reduce overthinking. I want to say a disclaimer really quickly. Overthinking is not specific to the INFJ. Overthinking is actually a pretty common occurrence, and a lot of people report struggling with overthinking. So just because you tend to overthink does not mean that you are automatically an INFJ. Today's video is going to explore what overthinking looks like for the INFJ in particular and our unique way of experiencing overthinking. So let's first define what overthinking might look like or how it might manifest itself in an INFJ. So every personality type will experience overthinking in a different way, but for the INFJ, overthinking can look like when you have something that you need to do, you play all of the different scenarios in your head about how it might go really well, and then also about how it might completely fall apart, and then before you know it, you've spent more time merely thinking about doing this thing than the amount of time it would have taken to just do it. So maybe you're thinking about quitting your job to pursue writing full time, and then you just run every scenario through your head about how you'll pay your bills, what expenses you can cut back on, if you'll have to get rid of your cat, and how sad that will make you. Overthinking can also look like when you're trying to rationalize why something happened or how it could have happened, and you just can't quite converge on the reason. Like one time, this lady got mad at me because we were in the checkout line at the grocery store, and all the people ahead of me had started one line and then they divided up to two different registers depending on which one became available quicker. And then this lady thought that I was just being stupid and not deciding on which register I wanted to go to and just holding up the line. So she was standing behind me and just like cussing up a storm, and then finally decided to push her shopping cart past me and she ran over my foot. And I was just like, overthinking mode. Why are people so evil? What pain have they experienced that causes them to be so cruel and lack awareness of others? Why must such cruelty exist in the world? What do I need to do to change all of that? So as I mentioned, other personality types may experience overthinking too, but in a different way. So when someone like an INFP is overthinking, their overthinking process may more so surround if they're making moral and ethical choices, and they'll tend to overthink about their past and their past mistakes. So an INFP's overthinking in the same scenario might be more like, I feel so angry and humiliated. I should have punched her, but that would probably be wrong. I need to remember what my parents taught me about always being kind. So to answer the question of where this tendency to fall victim to overthinking comes from and why INFJs tend to suffer it, essentially overthinking is just the occurrence of someone being in the loop of their introverted cognitive functions. So whereas the INFP's cognitive stack consists of FINESITE, their introverted functions are FI, which deals with making moral and ethical decisions, and then SI deals with your perception of your past experiences. And INFP's introverted loop with their FI and SI will make them overthink about if they're being a good person. It will make them tend to like overthink their past, whereas the INFJ's cognitive stack consists of NIFETISE. So our introverted functions are introverted intuition and introverted thinking. So introverted intuition deals with looking at information, trying to determine if there is some sort of underlying message that we need to see, and then introverted thinking deals with trying to understand why things happen, trying to figure out how things happen. So those introverted functions, NI and TI, in the case of the INFJ, are the reasons why we tend to get sent into overthinking mode, or an overthinking loop that we have trouble coming out of. So what's the cure to overthinking, or how can we snap out of overthinking mode, or that NITI loop? Well, if an introverted functions loop is defined as being trapped, bouncing back and forth between your introverted functions and your just disregarding your extroverted functions, the solution would therefore be to stop just using those introverted functions and instead use your extroverted functions. Pull your extroverted functions back into the formula. So let's look at the INFJ's cognitive stack again. INFJ's cognitive stack consists of NIFETISE. So if you're in overthinking mode, or that NITI loop, in order to snap out of it, you're going to want to reintegrate your FE and SE. So some people say that it is better and easier to turn to your secondary function, since that function is stronger than your fourth function. So for the INFJ, if you want to reintegrate that FE is concerned with wanting to emotionally support people, to make them feel happy. So if you find that you're stuck in an NITI loop or that overthinking mode, call or text a friend. You can say, can we talk? I'm, kind of disturbed by this thing that happened to me. Or if you don't want to talk about what's bothering you because you feel like it's just going to get you more riled up, say to your friend, hey, how are you doing? How's your new job? Do you have any plans for the summer? Are you going to be traveling anywhere? It'll get you out of your head where things can just simmer and simmer until it's all dried up and catches on fire. If you don't feel like doing the FE thing because you just don't want to talk to anyone, then do the SE thing. Go on a simple walk, bake some cookies, go shopping, just something again to get you out of your head. I have a video called 5 Easy Extroverted Sensing Activities, so go watch that if you need some quick and easy ideas. Sometimes it's fine to think deeply and to be in an introverted loop. Sometimes we introverts just need to be in an introverted loop and to just sit with our thoughts and sort through them and sort through our feelings and process what's going on inside of us. Sometimes that's a completely healthy thing to do. Like after that incident at the grocery store, I drove home and I was just thinking, like, man, if everyone in this world could just stop before they act and just stop and ask themselves, how can I do this in a kinder way? The world would be a much better place. And so after overthinking it, I came to the conclusion, I need to be that change. I need to be kind in all circumstances. I'm going to be the one to create that chain reaction of kindness. So sometimes overthinking and being in a loop can bring about an epiphany or bring some clarity to the situation, and that's a beautiful thing. That is, just what you need after being in overthinking mode for so long. Like all of those thoughts are just like simmering, and then instead of drying up and getting set ablaze, you cook up this like great idea. Just because you find yourself in overthinking mode doesn't mean that the priest needs to be called and perform an exorcism, and it doesn't mean that you have to go out and extrovert yourself, because that can kind of just be a distraction from something that your introverted loop can possibly teach you, especially if you're an INFJ, because our NI and TI are always looking for underlying meanings. So just sitting with your NI and TI can actually be very therapeutic and can be a very good thing. So go ahead and overthink and go ahead and be in your loop, but then we have to draw a line on when you need to come out of that loop. It's my personal opinion, and people may think differently, but it's my personal opinion that you need to just let things go and snap out of your loop when you've been in it for too long and it's creating more negativity than it's creating positivity, or when it's not only unproductive but it's holding you back from being productive. So back to my incident of getting ran over by the lady in her shopping cart. If I had been in my loop for an entire day and it had been creating a lot of negativity negativity and keeping me from being productive and finishing everything that I needed to do for that day. So like if I had just spent the whole day thinking, man, people suck and this is why the world is going to hell, and I wasn't getting anything done the entire day because I was just so caught up in my loop about the situation, and I couldn't bring myself to do my laundry, I couldn't bring myself to eat, and instead of going out with my friends, I just chose to stay home to grumble. Again, when your loop is drawing in more negativity than it's being conducive to positivity, when it's not only unproductive but holding you back from being productive, that's when you have to make the mindful, conscious decision to snap out of it. If it's nothing but toxicity and poison to yourself, internalizing that will kill you mentally. So make the mindful, conscious decision to snap out of it. Again, start out small. If you can't bring yourself to do something you want to do because you're just in a glum mood and nothing will really bring you joy, do something you need to do, like go wash the dishes. And if you can't bring yourself to wash all of the dishes, just wash one dish. If you're trying to do something productive, like a chore, in order to get out of your loop, you're killing two birds with one stone. And vice versa, if you can't bring yourself to do something that you need to do something that you want to do. Like if you'd been wanting to watch a movie on Netflix but you just hadn't had the time to come around to doing it, then do it now. Start out small, then gradually do something a little bigger and bigger. Go journal, go sit on your porch, just go for a drive. It'll help you to see that even though you feel trapped inside of your head, that the world is still spinning and time is still moving forward, and that you can as well. So that's all for today's video. Let me know about your experience with overthinking or the NITI loop, and if you're not an INFJ, let me know about your experience with your loop with your introverted functions. I would be very interested to hear. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next time.